So the whole backstory, as I was telling you, whole backstory goes, I got a client who came to me, and a new client, basically a guy who is pretty new into the fitness whole. He was just basically living his life with a little bit of sports as a kid, but that's it, like nothing much more. And he came and he gave me a question that I was like, well, I should be able to answer this, but it was just so complex. He was like, so what do I do to get healthy?
Okay.
It's like, all right. Well, there's so much things, right? But if somebody is just starting from the scratch, what's the answer to that question? And what is the health, right?
Okay.
What is the health and what people can attribute to health? You know, the World Health Organization, they just they define it, which is for quite some time a leading sentence, that health is not only lack of disease, but it's a well-being in physical, mental, and I'm paraphrasing a lot now, but it's not just a lack of disease. There's way more into it.
Absolutely.
But if somebody's starting from the scratch, what do they focus on, right? So I start to think about it, and I debriefed it into multiple areas, and very good intake from this was from Greg Glassman, founder of the CrossFit, which he basically said, again, I'm paraphrasing a lot, health is ability to perform different tasks in a different time frames along a lifespan. So basically his definition of fitness was work capacity across broad time and modal domains, which says everything, but it's super comprehensive, right?
Exactly.
So that means work capacity, your ability to perform across broad time, which is like from 5-second sandbag toss or clean jerk, whatever it is, or a sprint or a single jump, to a long task like a marathon. Yeah, so that's the time frame, and different modalities, which is lifting, gymnastics, cardio movements, and so on. And taking that across the lifespan, that's his definition of health. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And
did he define, or did he put a span of, or the duration of the span, or the lifetime span?
Basically, just across your life.
Whole life. Okay, so a
whole
lifetime.
Life. So that's what you see on the CrossFit Games, right? The Masters, right? Like, or all the crazy stories from the internet. You can get all the 80-year-old athletes, because you can really call them athletes by what they can perform, right? But then, if somebody's just starting, you kind of need a balance between things. But what is the balance? Because there is a work and private life balance with people trying to figure out. But I don't think that necessarily is reflecting what we are about to talk about, because there can be people who are very healthy, even they spend 12-14 hours working. They can still maintain their own balance. So it's not about time allocation to stuff, it's more about allocation of the focus, effort, and so on, and mainly allocation of the effort towards stuff that you actually can influence. Is the stuff that you actually can contribute to, can control. Exactly. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Exactly. That. Why would you even bother trying to push in the areas where your level of control is so little? Absolutely. Yeah. And then when you go from the basics, what is the main thing that you do all the time and you can control? Is your breathing. Okay. Yeah. Which a lot of courses are around. Main one probably Wim Hoff. You know Wim Hoff?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I know the concept, but I've never tried it. But I heard how good.
Oh, you never tried it?
I never tried it personally.
Okay.
But I have friends who do free diving, and they actually learned some stuff from that benefited them. Apparently.
Well, I definitely think that it's very helpful for free diving. Timea can hold her breath like up to 3.5 minutes now, and she's just
on surface.
On the surface, just
okay.
like
Yeah.
calm, no activity, a little bit of hyperventilation and so on.
And that came from training, or just because of her lifestyle and being that healthy with stamina?
That came from actually doing breathing exercises.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But basically what Wim Hof came with was a new concept where he proved that something what was previously, and it's still in the textbook, called autonomous nervous system, which means that it's every process that is going in your body that you don't even know about. Yeah, it's your digestion, it's your you don't think about breathing necessarily, right?
Absolutely.
Like inhaling, it's just automatic processes. And this is regulated by two branches of the autonomic or autonomous nervous system: sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic is the one where you go for action. That's the fight and flight. Yeah, fight and flight is in the sympathetic. That's where you require action. Parasympathetic is more digestion, socialization, and all these kind of calm processes that eventually also build the whole society, right? Okay. And he proven that these two branches he can influence through the breathing. They were called autonomous because it was unheard of that somebody will actually regulate their body temperature through their own action. And he proved that it's possible. Yeah, through the breathing, through intensity of the breathing, over oxygenation of the system, and so on. And when we go to like complete basics of breathing, what we can do on a daily basis is focusing on how we breathe, where we breathe through.
Okay.
If you breathe through nose, that's way more towards calming. Yeah, you can notice it in the workout. Yeah, you finish the workout, how much can you only breathe through the nose? Yeah, because you are hyped, right?
Yeah,
so you know it's going to be very hard.
It is.
Trying it can help you to calm down, obviously, and eventually certain like deep inhale through the nose and then slow exhale through the lips. It's very calming.
Yeah.
Only breathing through the nose, that should be our goal for daily tasks when we are not really pursuing anything too physical.
And as you said, this is as a basic act. So you recommend it to do it on how many times a day, for example?
Well, you should breathe like that all the time.
Okay, no. This is, I think, a normal thing. As a human being, we always breathe from our nose, unless people do a different thing.
That's not really common.
Okay.
A lot of people have problem to breathe only through the nose.
And what is the reason for that?
Usually, it can be that they are stressed from the outside, and they cannot bring themselves there, or it can be the habit of some people, of course, there might be, I think it's something with the septum in the nose, like the airways are just not really.
See, I fell off on my nose when I was a child, grade 1. I was pushed off the stairs, and since then I damaged my nose somehow, and I have something called a Nasal Septum deviation.
Okay.
So I did a test before. I'm a scuba diver, licensed scuba diver, and I was worried about me being, in a trouble or a problem of, pressure and all this issues. So I did a full test, and I came to realize that I have something called a Nasal Septum deviation.
Right.
So basically, I breathe literally with less inhaling from the left side of my nose. So if I close...
So there's a left deficiency, yeah?
Yes, exactly. So if I sleep on my right side and my nose is blocked by the pillow, the blanket, whatever it is, I'm not getting that much oxygen through my nose to my brain, and I wake up with headaches, which before that I did not even know. So the doctor said, try your best to sleep on your left, but I'm like, I can't control this. And this is what you came to part where you're saying it's controlling. But then I do not notice, now since you're saying that people sometimes maybe they don't breathe from nose because they struggle, well, I do breathe from my mouth if just unfortunately I'm sick or something like that, but I think now I have to focus because he just told me that I'm using my nose most of the time, because on a daily habit I'm breathing from my nose. I don't have a problem with breathing. It's just that the percentage of breathing from the left side is less than the right side for me as a person. But I can imagine people who are sick or struggling with their nose, they could be breathing from the mouth more.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect it to be.
It's very common that people after injuries, obviously, they have a problem with.
Absolutely, but I just didn't come to. I just came to realize that there's a problem with people actually having a bad habit of breathing from their mouth.
Oh yeah, it's a big one.
Okay.
And you can even see the patterns if people are more stressed. They have harder time breathing through the nose.
Stressed as
mentally. It can be also mentally.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That goes both ways because for brain to a certain degree, mental and physical stress are perceived very similarly. Yeah, because 50,000 years ago, and we still have bodies of people from 50,000 years ago. For them, mental stress basically equaled physical stress. Especially because the threat was really real. Yeah. Now, the boss or somebody yelling at you or a traffic situation is not necessarily. Well, traffic is a lot of physical stress.
Mental stress.
But it's mainly mental stress, right? Because you don't really necessarily feel that something will eat you or you are in a life danger, right?
Mode, yeah.
But your brain doesn't really necessarily need to recognize that. So that's then also PTSD is coming into this as a problem with re-evaluating the time when the stressful situation happened. But that's way broader, yeah. But like very, very simple, very simplified, breathing nose for calming, breathing through the nose, mouth for hyping. When you want to, there was actually a very interesting YouTube video. It's super easy to find. A guy gave himself a panic attack just through hyperventilating through his mouth.
Oh.
Just, for a couple of minutes, panic attack, done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because you have a lot of receptors. For the nose, lips, the throat, they are all receptors for either sympathetic or parasympathetic. If you'll go to a very stressful situation, even or do you do ice bath or stuff like that?
I haven't tried it, but I've seen people struggling with it.
Yeah, exactly. And usually when they panic is when they lose the breathing.
Okay.
It's super connected. It's just them losing the control over breathing, which means losing the control over what's going on. And that's what Wim Hof is doing. Yeah? So he will go in, inhale through the nose, long, slow exhale through the mouth.
Yes.
That will calm you down.
Of course. Yeah.
Obviously.
It's like what you or any coach in the gym will always tell us, like breathe, and you always advise us to breathe from the nose and just exhale through the mouth, because that's what the actual
and for the training purposes, this is extremely important for people. They don't realize that inhale will happen, and they don't focus on exhale. They want to do the inhale, but that will happen very naturally. Yes. You need to focus on the exhale. If you want to fill the lungs with the air, you need to first put the air out.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Plus, the crunched fetal position between the rounds, or like just being hunched over, that's squeezing your lungs. It's like grab a balloon into your hand and try to blow it. It's not going to happen. So it's the same thing. The best thing, even between sets or for a recovery after some strenuous activity, just stay open with the chest and focus on exhaling. Inhale will happen. Focus on pushing that air out.
I remember the reason why personally I learned that inhaling, exhaling was very important as a child. My dad he used to love watching the Olympics.
Okay.
And as kids we would sit around him and he would be like, look at the way he's breathing, this is the right way to breathe. And so he's a sports person himself. So it kind of grew in. So I said, when I play football, I think about it. When I did any kind of exercise, I thought about it. And you grow and you learn, and now I'm learning even more that how important it is.
That's the only thing that will literally be with you to the last moment.
Of course. Yeah, of course. But as you said, sometimes you don't realize what you're doing. As you said, he put himself in a panic attack because he was breathing incorrectly.
Yeah. Well, that guy on the YouTube video, just to clarify, that he did it intentionally to demonstrate it, but exactly that's what happened.
An incorrect breathing kind of stuff.
You know, when people are getting panicky and like towards panic attack, you can see like they have a huge problem controlling what is going on. Even when there is an asthma attack, the first thing you can do to help the person is to go behind them, hug them. Of course, you can like inform them that you're going to do it, so they don't think you're going to suplex them or something. And as they are trying to inhale, you go with them, and then when you exhaling, you squeeze their chest. You help them exhale. You literally physically push their lungs smaller, so you help them exhale, and you can really see how this is a very helpful helpful practice, right? Yeah. Second thing, definitely super underestimated, hydration. Yeah,
of course.
I even kind of experimented with it. You can temporarily mask the lack of sleep through proper hydration. I'm saying temporarily because also when we'll be talking about sleep, like there is no way to catch up on the sleep too much. But if you really need to, you had very bad sleep for whatever reason, you wake up in the morning and you really need to push through some stuff, just pound a lot of water, and you can kind of survive through it thanks to that.
So I read once that the most important thing to do once you wake up is to hydrate, because for 6 to 8 hours you're in bed, you're not drinking, and your body is working actually. It's healing or it's growing or whatever it is. So you're saying that drinking water. What other solutions are available for that?
Drinking more water.
Is there any kind of like supporting multivitamins, or because I've read stuff, but I don't want to bring it in because I want to hear it from a professional, not what I've heard.
Well, this is the thing. Like, like if you will go now, even on a PubMed, like whatever study you want to find, you will find it. If you want to find a study that is supporting your claim, you will find a lot of them. If you want to find something what is supporting opposing argument, you will find it. Yeah, that's why it's pretty like bring anything in, like say absolutely anything, because at the end you need to try it. You need to sit. What is very big problem? What I learned lately the hard way because of one guy I'm coaching. He's let's say in his teens, okay, and he was surprised that cola has sugar in it.
Oh, but I thought this is something you learn in school.
Well, I maybe he wasn't paying attention.
He was absent.
Yeah, like really, like he was literally. I was like, like you should drink water if you don't like taste of water, which I think it's something you can really build up to. Just like the water, just like the water as it is.
Exactly. I do love water.
Exactly. And he was like, no, I don't. I was like, don't add sugar. And it's like, I'm not adding any sugar to my water. And it's like, okay, well, that's great. So like lemon, like squeeze the lemon, or I use a little bit of baking soda.
Okay.
Like it's what is it called? Bicarbonate.
But why do you do that? Just to have
that's
like sparkling?
With a little bit of salt and bicarbonate, it helps you give you as you said minerals and stuff like. So it's also good for upset stomach because it's bringing you a little bit more to an alkaline environment. Okay. So if you have a problem with digesting certain heavy food, or you just overdid it on a brunch, tablespoon of the, or not tablespoon, teaspoon of the baking soda, a little bit of lemon juice with water. So it's brilliant. You will burp a lot, but because it will bring stuff out. But
but I'm still surprised about the child not knowing that there's sugar and this is one child. You could imagine there's a huge amount of children that don't know this.
It's definitely not on him.
But this is also the fault of his parents and the others. And how's the health of this child like?
Well, Getting better.
Okay.
He's
So
trying.
He's
trying.
struggling at
He's
the beginning.
listening. He's listening.
Okay.
But that was the initial conversation, because when I asked, his parents weren't coming. They were just sending him with a driver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And when there was always a conversation, it was like, like I eat pretty well. I don't drink like sugary water. And it's like, okay, well, and somehow one day we got into conversation about actually what he is drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And he said in one moment that no, he has no added sugar in his drinks. And then in the following minute, he said like, yeah, cola, I drink cola all the time.
Like it's normal.
I was like, brain freeze in the moment, like, what just happened here?
Yeah,
you know?
like it was normal. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the scary part, because as you're saying, he's 13. It's not his fault.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know?
exactly. At such ages, yes, you might get taught at school, or maybe you read something, but you need your parents to support you, to tell you these things are incorrect. And so, but yeah, anyways, habits will stay with us till we grow. But it depends on us to accept the advice. Like, so you told him it's incorrect, so it's up to him to accept it or not.
Yeah, up to him, and at this stage probably his parents as well.
Yeah,
but
of course.
It's a different discussion.
I
Yeah.
can imagine. Yeah.
Just a general fun knowledge question. How much protein percentage is in your muscle?
I wouldn't know.
Okay, it's roughly 18 to 20. Depends on the source.
20%.
20% of your muscle is the contractile protein. It's the thing that actually does the work.
Mm-hmm.
What is the rest?
Is it? I'm not sure.
Water.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most of
It's
our body is water. Yes.
75%. 75% of muscle is water.
Okay.
Then you have the 18 to 20 is the actual muscle contractile protein.
Yeah.
And then you have some enzymes, a little bit of fat, because we have intramuscular fat as well, and some 1% is like stores of glucose in the muscle and stuff. But like if somebody wants to gain, you need that water. Like the body is not going to build it, because building muscle is not 100% of the priority if other processes are neglected. Every single process in the body requires water. Yeah. So hydration, it's like if I would go easily about 3 liters a day. Like I know it's hard at the beginning, especially when you're not used to it, but like push it, get a bottle and pound as much as you can. First thing in the morning, at least half a liter to get you started.
Half a liter in the morning.
I mean, of course, probably depends on the size as well. I wouldn't say that the 50 kilo lady marathon runner necessarily needs half a liter straight. Yeah. But if she's running that morning for the training, the more you lose, the more you need to replenish.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. And
do you believe in those pills that people put in their water just to compensate on the hydration and stuff like that? So, for example, when I go hiking, I see people. I use natural water, and I always have the other kind of drinks that with salts and stuff. Like I'll go with the I forgot the name of it. That orange thing. I forgot the.
You probably don't mean just orange juice, right?
No, not orange juice. Not orange juice. Anyways, so I see people dropping these pills in their water because they say it helps me to stay hydrated and more. So is that increasing the percentage of consumption of water to the muscles?
Well, the thing is that especially when you're talking about hiking and we're talking more about endurance.
Yes.
Endurance sport where you really for a prolonged time losing water. The problem or the challenge is that you're not only losing water, you're losing the minerals with it. Yeah, I can tell you one a little bit different extreme example of this, where my father got COVID.
Okay.
And he was he's fine. It was like it wasn't easy, but it was a push for him because he got it like a couple of days after his first vaccine shot, and they believed that even accelerated, that even gave it the right push towards the proper experience, and everything was like kind of okay. He didn't really have respiratory problems, all was fine except of fever. He had high fever for 7 days. He had hard time bringing it under 39.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and because he was sweating a lot, he was very tired because of the fever, obviously. So he was basically most of the time in a bed, just sweating. And he was drinking a lot. And then on like 3rd day, he started to have. He was dizzy, and he started to be very, very limited with his consciousness.
Oh.
You know, like he wasn't fading away completely, but it was there. Like the blood pressure went really down, and it was because he was replenishing the liquids, but all the minerals went out. So we had a call, and he kind of figured on his own, but it was also an advice from our family doctor, and we all got to a group Zoom, made a strategy basically for him, and it was not only water, but start with a little bit of salt in the water, some orange juice, and basically just pound all the necessary stuff back into the system. Yeah. Okay. So this is the same thing. You are not only losing the water, you're also using the electrolytes. Yeah, potassium, sodium is a big one, because with a decrease of sodium, your blood is getting more dense, because the sodium is the element that is holding your blood. It's basically, sodium is in the blood, and it pulls water, because it can't be, it's binded in the water, like by default. Yeah. That's why people who have already heart problems, and they are required to have less salt in their diet, because more salt means more volume of the blood, which means more load on the system, to very, very simplify it. But for athletes and people who train regularly, that should be actually opposite. Yeah, if you have very hard training, sweating a lot, or not necessarily hard but long, as you said, the hiking and so on, you definitely need to replenish also the salt. So that's also the sodium bicarbonate I was talking about. That's, you can use that, or you can use a little bit of salt. My brother had his secret recipe. It was I think half cup was orange juice, half cup was water, and then he put salt into Himalayan salt into it. Just let it dissolve, and it was his kind of like a post-workout natural way of replenishing all of it.
So again, it should be the combination of electrolyte drinks and natural water.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't know what is in the tablets these people are using.
Exactly. This was my question. Is those tablets? Because it's coming from a manufacturer. It's not natural. This is what confuses me.
This is a very good point, because that's what I want to get into with the food, and that's basically the answer to this question. The more natural you can make it, the better. So if you can take salt with you, with a little bit of water, just a little bag of spoon of salt, even in the water, and maybe possibly some sugars, but like more like from natural source.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Bananas, apples,
dried fruit is great because the water is pulled out of it.
Yes.
And it's very dense source of.
So dry fruits or dates.
Raisins.
Raisins.
Dates, and whatever you like. Whatever you like, and dried fruit in your pocket is not going to take much, but it's a very dense source of these carbs that you need. Plus, you can get the bicarbonate into your water and so on. Yeah, that can help as well. Cool. Yeah, and towards the nutrition, which is another huge part of what you can influence and you can focus on. Like vegan, I know vegan people who are super healthy and super strong. I've also seen vegan people who are super weak and basically very badly influenced by the diet. Yeah. The same for people who are on keto, which would be the opposite extreme, only loads of fat and protein, close to zero carbs. people need to figure out what works for them. But the basic ground rule should be you eat for the purpose of it.
What you want to achieve.
Yes.
Okay.
In a meaning of you don't eat protein to get energy. You eat protein to recover. So when you eat protein, well, before you're going to recovery, right? Before sleep. Like why would you pound a lot of protein for the day when you need to be active and you're going to just feel heavy in your stomach?
Absolutely.
Yeah? When was the last time you had steak and after the steak you were like, oh, let's do a workout right now? That doesn't
you
happen.
feel heavy, you feel tired, you feel sleepy. Yeah,
exactly. That's the effect of the protein for digestion. Of course, beef steak, that's a different kind of heavy than a salmon, but it still is the same point. Protein for recovery and carbs as a fuel.
Yes.
So the amount of carbs through the day should, in my opinion, should match the level of your activity. That means if I'm going to have one CrossFit workout and then in the morning and then hike in the afternoon and it's 35 degrees, I probably will have way more carbs than if I have one strength session a day and I just spend day in the office. You know, like it really is it should fluctuate by what you are actually doing. I have one friend who is pushing this to an extreme and he doesn't have protein if he's not training that day. He's like, I have to deserve it, you know, like a Spartan way. Like I don't eat any protein for that day
because I didn't work out.
I don't deserve it.
So he has to work out.
He has to work out to get the protein.
Needs, exactly, so he can recover from whatever.
Correctly.
Okay, do you think that's right?
He's doing this for years, and I don't see any negative effect on him.
Okay.
Look, he's not a professional athlete who is trying to achieve his peak performance. He just does it so he feels good, he steams out and so on.
But still you didn't answer the question. Do you think from your point of view? Because if it's not affecting him, that's his body, maybe he got used to it and so.
I would not recommend it for everybody. You can try it.
Yes.
You can try it, but also the idea that, you know, you will not recover if you don't have certain amount of protein through day. I don't believe that because I tried it myself, and with being around 90 kilos, I was living over a year on no more than 80-85 grams of protein per
a day.
Per day.
Oh wow!
Per day, and I still recovered well, and I was gaining, and I was getting stronger.
Okay.
The challenge here is the digestion. Yeah. If you can digest it well, if you in a calm environment, if you give your body the rest it needs, it will recover well. Yeah. If you will pound 200 grams of proteins, but you will not digest and process correctly, well. Yeah, you can have all the protein in the world, and it won't happen. Yeah. So that's a huge one. And towards the fats, I consider fats extremely necessary for hormonal perspective. You know the big fuss about cholesterol, right?
Yes.
I don't want to go into too many details. I will just give you one fact to consider, okay? Every steroid hormone in the body, which is all the sex hormones, so estrogen for women, testosterone for men, aldosterone, even cortisol, couple of others, all the steroid hormones in the body have one precursor they are built from, and it's cholesterol. So we need cholesterol. If we need excessive intake in our food from cholesterol, well, that's up for debate. Excessive, definitely not, right? But having some cholesterol, if you don't have cholesterol, body will create it. If you have excess of cholesterol, body can get rid of it.
Mhm.
And these are facts. This is not this is not up for debate. These are facts. If you have too much, body knows how to get rid of it.
Okay.
If you don't have enough, body knows how to create it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Then we would maybe need to talk more about inflammation and the processes behind why the cholesterol levels are elevated in the blood. But that's a little bit, it's related, but it's a little bit different story there. Yeah.
Okay.
And as we already touched on that, sleep.
Yes.
So how do you sleep?
How do I sleep? Do you want to know how many hours you mean, or?
Generally, like, what's your routine?
So I struggle from a bad habit, unfortunately. I've been working from home since 2 years now, and this has pushed my sleeping time because I'm at home, and I just wake up and I'm on my desk. Yes, I'll have my breakfast, my morning routine, but I'm still on my desk directly from bed. So I would sleep around between 12 till 1:30 a.m. But still.
In the morning?
In a.m. midnight. But however, I sleep between 7 to 8 hours because my office or my work starts at 8:30.
Okay.
So I wake up 8:15 so I can refresh myself and get ready to start working.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was in the office, then I had to sleep earlier, which is 10:30, 11, sometimes 12. It depends on the day and depends on what's going on.
You are like a perfect example for this. How
Yeah.
that felt? Did it feel differently?
In which manner? I mean, the change of the time or the duration?
The basically push, because the time you sleep is practically
It's
the
almost
same.
the same, yeah.
But you had some time before midnight there,
Yes.
and now it's usually after midnight.
See, this is what I realized. If I sleep before midnight, I wake up happy. No matter how much I sleep after midnight, I wake up unhappy. Sometimes I sleep 8 hours and I wake up like as if I didn't have enough sleep. And the whole day I'm thinking like, I had 8 hours of sleep and I'm not sleeping enough. So it keeps telling me. Then I once read about sleeping, that pattern, the body pattern, understanding that it's midnight and not midnight, sleeping before that.
Circadian rhythms.
Yeah, so I don't know. Personally, now I still don't understand what suits me.
Okay.
Is it 7 hours or 8 hours?
I can maybe clarify that a little bit for
Tell
you.
me, yeah.
The length is important to a certain degree.
Okay.
This is something that is more like a saying than a scientific fact, but I still believe it's true because you basically just described it yourself. Quality-wise, 1 hour of sleep before midnight equals the quality of 2 hours sleeping after midnight.
Okay.
So that's a huge one. So it's different to go 12 to 8, sleeping 12 to 8, or from 10 to 6. Even it's the same time, you're more likely getting higher quality there. That has links. That has definitely links to pattern of the growth hormone, a pattern of the melatonin. You know, melatonin is a hormone that is responsible for us following the light cycle.
Yes.
I think it's called photophobic, which
That's
means it's decomposed as it encounters the light. If you're going for a toilet or whatever task you need to do at night, keep it in dark.
That's why they say daytime sleep is not healthy because your body still is awake because it figures out.
Yes,
which is part of this.
That's the circadian rhythm.
Okay.
Circadian rhythm is basically inner clock that every single cell in your body has. Yeah, it's a little bit different for every cell because like liver has its different clock, kidneys has this, and all these. You can even you can find a lot of links into Chinese and more Eastern medicine where they have the time of the organ, and they will tell you, making this up, 3 to 4 is the time of the liver. So if you wake up at that time, it's because of your liver has a problem. And they go into this way. However, the truth is that every single cell in the body has the inner clock, and it's guided majorly by two things. One is light pattern.
Okay.
So when the sun goes down, that's when we should go down. When the suns go up, that's when we should wake up. And if somebody is following this, at least partially, they will know it's very different to wake up as the sun is rising and you see it slowly coming up. They even have lamps that simulate this. Okay. You can buy from Philips. From Philips, they have light you will set up and it will simulate the sunrise, because in an interval of 15 to 20 minutes, it will slowly start to go from a different light spectrum, from the least intense to the more intense. Yeah. What I use lately is blue light blockers. It's basically this huge glasses I have. Okay. They are completely red, and they are blocking all blue light, because blue light is the wave spectrum that sun has on a midday. And it's also this light, and it's any light that is not yellow red-ish. And the other aspect of it is where the light is, because towards the night it's ideal that you have only light on the floor. Okay. Because that's simulating the sun going behind the horizon, right? Yes. So the two major things for the circadian rhythm is, one is the light pattern, but the other one is your own habits. Because if the sleep for adult, now speaking of adults, if your sleep is up to 7 hours, 7 and more, what will influence your feeling of freshness in the morning more than actual time is the regularity. Okay. That it's always 10:30 and always 6:30. Because body is it's a very smart machine. And if you will basically give your body a chance and teach it that this is when we go down, this is when we wake up, and there are no really significant interruptions to that, your digestion gets better. Of course. Your sleep gets better. Your recovery gets better. You actually, as you said, you feel happy in the morning. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, that's a big one, right? Yeah. Like, how many people are waking up tired and just like cursing the following day? Yeah. Courtney will forgive me that I mentioned her name directly. But Courtney told me she was waking up in the morning, and before she was able to function, she needed to go to a cold shower for 15 minutes and like slap herself to a face to wake up. That's not really healthy and natural, right? Or I would say we can do better.
But it works for her. I know it's unhealthy, but I mean,
but
she figured
also
a way to wake up the machine.
Her doing what she was doing with cabin crew with so many irregular sleep patterns and time zone patterns for such a long time, the whole system was just mess.
Of course.
Yeah. So I mean, it helps you to wake up, but wouldn't it be nicer if you just wake up and you're like, oh, I'm ready to go?
Yes. To point the fact that when I slept, I forced myself to sleep in times where I had to sleep by 9 or 10 p.m. because I am going to scuba dive in the morning, or I'm going to hike. And for example, I had these hikes where I had to wake up at 3 a.m. or 3:30 because I had to be at 6 a.m. starting the hike, which takes around 9 to 10 hours sometimes.
I did this mistake once that we didn't plan it this way, and we started the hike at 12 in the middle of the summer.
Oh wow! Yeah, no. Summer is not not ideal. Definitely not.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal.
Yeah, it's a death plan.
but we had enough water.
Yeah, despite that, I always think that heat stroke and dehydration is a massive thing in sports and activities, and especially in summer, especially in a country or region like this. So I do not recommend it. I personally try to avoid it.
I'm not much of a hiker myself. It was one-time event, and it probably will stay one-time event.
Exactly. Well, we learn from. We learn from whatever we go through. So what I was trying to say is, to actually add on what you said and you just gave me as a knowledge, is those 2 or 3 hours that I slept before midnight and I wake up at 3. Despite me waking up at a weird time, not suiting my, and I didn't sleep the 7 to 8 hours I'm used to, I wake up fresh and I continue the whole day powerful, strong, and capable of doing the exercise that my body is not used to on a daily basis.
Solid.
And I always kept me surprised, like, I didn't sleep enough. And I woke up at an earlier time, but but what's going on? Why am I this hyped, and why am I fresh, and why am I strong? And now it made sense to me, is that I'm sleeping in that right time that suits my body. And I always tell myself I need to be in bed by early, but it's just like, when you know that feeling that that you're not going to get into the car and go to the office and be in the office, whether you'll be on the sofa, you're chilling, you're on your desk at home. This kind of, it's a bad habit. Let me say.
Yeah.
It's a bad habit.
What a lot of people need to realize, that if you want to change this, it sadly doesn't start by going to the bed early.
Okay.
It starts by waking up early. Because if you will go to bed early on your normal day, you will just end up staring to the ceiling anyway. But if you will wake up early, you will just like, okay, this is the from Monday, always starting from
yeah, exactly.
always starting from Monday. So always starting from Monday, you wake up early, do whatever you want, some morning routine stuff, or whatever, if it's journaling, whatever works for you, and you kind of purposefully, at least for that week, make yourself tired through the day. Maybe a little bit more exercise, maybe parking a little bit further and walking. Yeah, just making a little bit extra effort to purposefully make yourself tired. You will be way more likely to be able to fall asleep in that time you want to set it for yourself. Right. So it doesn't start with going to the bed earlier. It starts with waking up early and making it through the day regardless. And then you can switch the pattern around.
Okay. In this case, would you recommend a nap in between? I'm a big fan of power naps, and 10 minutes for me works as miracles.
Well, this is if it works, it's great. Like I know people who can't do it at all. Yes, I know people who can do it unless it's not later than 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. Because if the nap is too close to the bedtime, then it throws them off.
Oh, I think that's normal with anyone. If I don't take a nap at 6 or 7 or 8 p.m. because I know I'm gonna sleep anyway.
Yeah, but for some people the limit is at 4. Like 4. But it's experiments. Okay. It's just trying. Try what works. I don't necessarily consider a nap. Look at there are whole cultures who are doing it. Look at the Spain, in Italy. I was in Italy on holiday. There's nothing possible to do, find, or even go for a coffee from 12 to 4. It's like siesta done.
If you go to the east coast of UAE, it's still the same case.
Okay.
Well, now I think they're improved, but I used to cover that city. Yeah.
Services improved.
I used to cover that city, and I used to struggle because I was a salesperson, and my job was to visit different facilities, and from 12 to 4 or 1 to 4 the city is off. Everybody is on a break because the country pattern was like that, the lifestyle was. But then in the bigger cities it's changed because it goes through the whole day. For me, it's kind of very I don't know, I don't have to do it every day, but once I feel a bit tired, I'll just put my head on the bed or a sofa, nap for 10 minutes, and wake up. And I wake up.
How do you wake up?
Automatically. Sometimes I put the alarm.
Oh, that's.
But guess what? Sometimes I put the alarm.
Interesting.
Yes, I put the alarm for longer because I'm greedy. So I put like 40 or 45 minutes. In 20 minutes, I'm up. And I'm like, nothing woke me up, and my notification is off on the phone. There's no noise that came from outside or inside. No one rang the bell. I just woke up, and I wake up literally happy.
Fresh.
Yeah. And this is why I come at 6 p.m. happy, probably because of that now.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Well, it works for me, as you said.
Yeah, I did it. I did it as well. I usually did naps and power naps. Maybe sometimes even up to like 40 minutes, an hour, if I for whatever reason didn't have a good sleep, or if I knew I will have, let's say, late coaching and then early coaching the following day. So already thinking ahead and preparing for it a little bit. Yeah.
But I also heard about how short naps are important, and then there's a certain duration which is incorrect.
Yeah, if you overdo it,
Yeah,
it
because
can
you
have
go
a,
into the deep sleep, I think. And
yeah. This is a. Do you have some tracker? Do you track yourself?
I did that a couple of years ago, and I just don't like the idea of keeping the phone next to me on.
Okay,
on
what
the
did you
mattress.
use?
One of those apps that was on the.
Okay, so you don't have like a
no,
variable
not to
on
watch, just something you put on the phone, and it actually
okay.
it triggers your deep sleep and light sleep, or
right.
what do you call it? Deep sleep and light sleep, I guess.
Yeah, there is a deep sleep, light sleep, and then REM sleep. REM sleep. Oh, we can go through that as well.
Yeah. What's that?
So, deep sleep. This is your body recovery. Deep sleep is when your protein synthesis is if you have enough water. When your protein synthesis is happening, that's when you're repairing the body.
Okay.
That's deep sleep. That's the deep state when you are woken up from that. Oof, that sucks. That sucks.
Very bad, yes.
That's like a solid slap into the face.
Yes.
Yeah. Then there is a light sleep, which is a little bit higher on the brain activity, let's say. So the brain activity is there a little bit higher, which is very interesting about the light sleep. Like evolutionary, we need to have the light sleep for the purpose of staying alive, because within a tribe you always need somebody to be a little bit more alert, and you're kind of more alert toward what is going on around when you're in the light sleep. Yeah. And what is very funny, and we got that proven with Tima as well, if you share household with your family, you are very likely to get to a stage where you never share deep sleep.
So
when one is in a deep,
people.
the other one is in a light.
Okay.
When the first one is in a light, the other one is in a deep. Because you always need somebody from the tribe to be able to wake you up eventually.
And this happens naturally.
This happens naturally.
Okay.
You don't have to synchronize yourself.
You go now.
Yeah, you do now. Yeah. It's like, so alarm at 1:45 we're switching. Yeah. And then there is REM sleep.
Yeah, which I never heard of.
REM. Rapid eye movement, and that's when your mental recovery is happening.
Okay.
It's called rapid eye movement because if I will open your eyelid at that moment, your eye is flicking.
Okay.
It's pretty crazy. Like if you look at the videos, it's pretty crazy how
But when you do that movement and you open my eye, would I wake up?
Well, I'm not sure about that, but I mean, for an experiment, we can try. We can try. I don't know if you would wake up, but people usually don't do it. It's just that's why it's called rapid eye movement. And the activity of the brain there is even higher than when you are in a light.
Oh, okay.
It's even higher. It's basically REM sleep. It's kind of closer to being awake than the light sleep, mainly because that's, as I said, the brain activity and brain things are sorted there. REM sleep is extremely important for you to memorize things. If somebody's studying, students without REM sleep, tough time. Yeah, you are sorting out short-term memories into long-term memories. You're basically sorting out the whole thing, what is going on, and that's also where the dreams are happening. So being woken up from a dream is being woken up from the REM sleep.
Okay. So waking myself up from the brain recovery, let's say.
Yeah.
Suppose.
Yeah. So, and that's also why it's believed that dreams have such an immense sense to our lives, because it's just air quotes, just a visual expression of sorting out all that stuff. Okay. Yeah. You probably have do you dream a lot? Do you have a dream?
I do dream, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how much do
vivid
I dream.
Dreams, vivid, strong dreams are a proof of quality REM sleep. Yeah.
Okay. So the more you dream, the better it is. This is what you're trying to say.
That's not necessarily true because you can have like the good amount of REM sleep is about 1 to 1.5 hours. For deep sleep, at least 45 minutes. If somebody is wearing some, Apple Watch, Whoop, Oura Ring, whatever the trackable is, like if you can track it, around 45 of the deep at least, and around 1 to 1.5 hours of the REM sleep. But if you will suddenly have 3 hours of the REM sleep, that might mean that there is a little disbalance between the previous day mental versus physical activity. And you might be overloaded, and brain needs to just sort the things out a little.
Okay.
One very interesting thing, alcohol is killing REM sleep.
Okay.
And if people, do you drink?
I don't know. I never tried it, so I wouldn't know.
Good for you.
Thanks.
Very good for you. If people have something like sober October or whatever they do, they start to have extremely vivid dreams. And it's a pattern. It's a pattern you can see on people.
Okay.
Because the REM sleep, the brain activity is smart, and it's catching up with everything what was suppressed before.
Okay.
So everything is clearer.
So you're somehow kind of explaining that the brain will still hold all those memories and wait for the right moment to just like try and understand.
I think it's a little bit tricky to call it memories, but you know, like when people drink and then they stop, like if it's a regular drinking and they stop, they think differently. They have a little bit different perspective.
They blossom. They open
exactly.
up. Yeah,
and that might be because they allow their brain to recover more naturally. I mean, this is not very popular opinion, but it's still the opinion I'm pushing all the time and everywhere where I can. The alcohol is a poison. It is. Why alcohol is first thing body will try to get rid of and process, it's because it's perceived as a poison for your body. That's why the calories from alcohol are burnt first, because body is just like, no, we need to get rid of it. We need to get rid of it. And if there are these so-called benefits of one red wine in the once a week, I mean, I don't believe that these benefits overweight the negative stuff that it's offering, because yes, wine might have certain stuff that is good for you, but it still has the alcohol. And that's it. So. But extremely important. Sleep, the regularity to set up the clock correctly, super important. Super. Sometimes more than the actual length.
I understand. Yeah. Well, now you made me think about what I'm doing, which is
that's
good. Which is good. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yes, absolutely.
One other thing that I noticed on myself, I take way lesser of a shock if I'm woken up by vibration on my wrist than the sound.
Okay.
Because I can set up my watch for vibrating as a alarm, and it's way better than any sound, anything. It starts very gently, and it goes until you stop it.
I do feel that in myself. I don't like that kind of shocking wake, like someone to wake me up in a loud noise, or maybe the alarm of the fire, God forbid, or something. Yes, exactly.
We have it here a lot.
I know
the alarm. Because people smoking shisha,
or like decide to cook at 3 a.m. in the morning, decide to have a burger or something. Yeah, exactly.
Decide to burn the burger.
And I notice how terribly it is affecting me. I mean, I wake up in a very bad grumpy
It's a freak out. It's like you really feel like you're about to have a fight.
That's why you never wake up a child in a shocking way. You just slowly touching them. So I think this
touching,
is
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not yelling.
Exactly. Yelling is for FBI, and people are like, wake up, hero.
Well, and that's proven that's why all the raids, when
happens
police is arresting, right? Like why all the raids are happening early morning. It's like they will literally piss and shit themselves there because it's
a shock.
It's a shock,
right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. One super important point I want to also mention towards the sleep, like it's so important that I believe that people should make that the number one priority for everything. So being like, I do everything in a day that I need to do, and whatever is rest, I sleep. Like no, it should be opposite. You allocate yourself. This is my sleep time, this is my wake up time, and I do everything possible make that happen and to work all the stuff around it. Because some people basically take sleep just like a unnecessary thing that needs to eventually happen, and even they're like chasing the bedtime.
Yes.
You know, like they're chasing the bedtime. But that should be the main priority. You're not going to feel good about anything else. It's also partly the mental health, right? Like how are you going to be kind and nice to people? How are you going to perform well when you hate a minute you
wake up?
You wake up.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard.
I respect one thing about my brother, for example. He puts everything around his bedtime when it comes 10 p.m. is 10 p.m. I don't care what's going on. I was once landing and my flight was late, so he was supposed to pick me up. But it was getting closer to his 10 p.m. He was like, brother,
take a cab.
It's important. Take a cab. And he actually took his... I respected that. I'm not going to ruin his life and his pattern or whatever the next day for him just because I can't take a cab. I'm sorry, but it's so easy to get a cab.
Yeah.
And guess what? He was in bed by 10 p.m. I didn't get upset, but I respected that because it's important. He cared about his health, his mental health, and maybe he had meetings the next day probably or something like that, which, as you said, could affect on his performance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And when you care about what you do every day, which you should,
yes,
because if you don't, then there are other things that are probably wrong. Bedtime is sacred.
Yes.
Bedtime is the sacred.
You remind me of my grandfather. He was like, I don't care. I'll have my breakfast at 6 a.m., lunch is at 12, and dinner is at 6 p.m. I'm in bed by 8 p.m. He's a farmer. So this is his lifestyle.
Yeah.
He wakes up by before the light comes out, by 4 a.m. And guess what?
Yeah.
He lived till 92.
Yeah, great, good for him. Yeah, and he probably didn't need an alarm to wake up.
Oh, definitely not.
Absolutely.
No, because his body clock was
exactly. Body clock is
accurate.
on the point. Yeah. Cool. Moving towards the training, and I would really like to approach training in a way that it's not necessarily physical training.
Okay.
For a health factor, for a healthy mind, I believe that more than actual physical training, of course, I'm not denying benefits of strength, benefits of endurance training, all can be and needs to be there. However, what I would put a little bit more of a higher priority is overcoming challenges. If it's through the training or if it's through different activities like, for example, sauna, heat exposure, cold exposure, just having that little discomfort that you impose on yourself, because that's one thing that people are greatly missing. They have so much discomfort from outside. Not everybody likes their job, not everybody has a great relationships and so on. There is so much shit coming from outside. But if you will learn how to put yourself into discomfort on purpose, regardless what the discomfort is, and endure, not necessarily endure it, but fight through it. Not enduring in a meaning of like you suffering every minute.
Yes.
You should enjoy that fight.
Okay.
You should go there, like the ice bath. Like, you're not going to survive ice bath if you sit there and you hate every second of it. Of course, there needs to be some
preparation.
That as well. There needs to be some fight that is happening. There needs to be some hard push, because if somebody is at the level that they will just sit into the ice bath and nothing is really happening, like, what's the point? Because the point should be overcoming the discomfort that you impose on yourself, regardless if it's training, different temperature discomfort, or just doing something you not necessarily like, but with an intention, not suffering through it, but dominating it. Yeah, I
like that. Dominating it.
Dominate the activity.
Yes.
Because there you get a little piece of control.
So basically, it's a challenge, and it's something that you don't like. However, you know that it's going to benefit you. So that's why I don't like it, but I'll do it just because I want to get the result out of that. Julian
from StrongFit, he's talking a lot about fight and flight. They are both on that sympathetic side. The activity. But they're tremendously different. It's, are you a hunter who is hunting, or are you the prey who is hunted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest difference in going into the training, going into the ice bath, going into anything. And it can be strength training, it can be endurance training. Strength training has even WHO, World Health Organization, I believe it was last year or maybe the year before, but they came after years, maybe probably decades of always recommending endurance activity. They came into conclusion that we need, which I mean in the strength and conditioning community, this was known for at least 50 years, we need strength training for longevity. Okay. If you said your granddad was 92, grandfather was 92. If you have somebody who is 92 years old and he can't get out of bed, what is he lacking?
Lacking energy, power,
strength. It's not cardiovascular endurance.
Exactly.
It's the strength.
It's the power. Exactly.
The ability to endure impact. Older people fall. Of course. They can fall down. They can hit something. Something can hit them.
But they need to get up.
Yeah, but they need to get up. They need that ability, and that is why we really should focus on the strength as well. Cardiovascular activity, of course, the oxygen delivery system. Cardiovascular. That's the lungs, veins, how the oxygen is getting to the tissues. Of course, that needs to be there, should be there as well. Because if you're a mass of muscles, 120 kilos, but first flight of stairs kill you, I mean, okay, you might have that 1 rep max super high, but for a functional, healthy life, that's not ideal. Yeah. But if we have some balance between strength and endurance, plus we really push on just overcoming day by day, every day overcome some fear and discomfort. I put it on the Instagram. We had a laugh about this on the strongman class a couple of weeks ago. Okay. Yeah, Andrea was quoting what I put on the Instagram.
Which
if
was?
You die every day, you will know what life is about.
Yes.
Yeah. If you die a little bit every single day, you will really appreciate what life is about, what it has to offer, and that's it. That's it. Just go for the discomfort and push a little bit.
Absolutely.
That's where you get the little sense of control, little sense of, and it has a great transfer. It has a transfer to your normal life, because you know that if you can overcome. How many times in the workout, in the training, you are like, if I can manage this, I can manage anything. You know, like that mindset. It's so important because it's true. Because it's always pushing you a little bit further to overcome whatever it is. Yeah, and how you approach the workout. So there are sets, there are reps. You do it step by step. Now this is the next step. I do this. This is how we overcome every obstacle.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to set up a company. So what do I need to do? I need to get this. I need to get the license. I need to get the funding, and it's always step by step. And you usually should not really skip multiple steps just to get to the end. Yeah. For whatever reason.
You know, actually, the fact that you're saying about the build-up, I look at myself. I'm not a strong person. This is how I see myself. I might be fast. I might be. I can do a workout for 2 hours, for example. But I lacked strength. So that's why I started attending classes like CrossFit, classes like Strongman. And with Strongman, you made me realize I'm capable of doing things I've never done before. Like that day when we had the sandbag carry.
Yeah.
There was the 180, and then you added the 40 on top of it. And
it was like 2 weeks ago.
Exactly 2 weeks ago. And I went and I came back. Yes, I wobbled at the end of it, but I did the whole run. And I'm like, I'm capable to do this. Like, I didn't even know that, but you pushed me to overcome a challenge that I had in my head. Despite it, I know that if I carried it, I could easily throw it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to take really credit for this, because there are people who you can tell anything to. On our strongman group, you will not see that a lot. Okay. Yeah, but you can help people. You can tell them whatever you want, and the first thing they will do, they'll pick it up, they will drop it.
Yes.
Flight, complete flight. Not even trying.
Okay.
And they will blame you. Why you forced me to do it? They're trying to prove that they were right, but not even trying. You know,
maybe because they lack acceptance. They can't accept the fact that they are incorrect, and they just want to accept that the surrendering is easy.
Yeah, it's a lot about the identity that they created. As you said, like, I don't see myself as a strong person. Well, you can see yourself as anything you want.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
And strong is very relative. I mean, like, okay, if we all look at the strongest people in the world, we are probably fairly weak, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
But but look at yourself 10 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
Like me 10 years ago. Oh my God! Like that's a different world, you know.
No, what I meant when I'm not strong, I don't carry heavy weights. I carry weights. That's what I meant. But I know I'm not capable of doing the 500 pounds deadlift.
Yeah, but what is heavy, right?
Exactly.
That's relative as well.
Exactly. Depends on the person's size, on the muscle, and how much they exercise, and the rest of the things to line. But what I meant is, I started realizing the challenge that is in front of us is only overcome by our mentality, if I'm capable of not, and understanding that what if I failed at this challenge? What's the biggest thing that could happen? As you said, I could walk halfway. If I'm tired, I could throw it.
Yeah.
And then learn from that, okay, maybe the way I carried it, maybe the way I was breathing, maybe I need to reduce a bit of my steps or increase it. So you learn with the process.
Or maybe just believing you can.
Exactly. Right? Oh, that's the number one thing.
Yeah,
that knowing I'm capable.
Yeah.
But I absolutely agree on the point that we have to understand what
because
we can overcome.
That's what you made the point about right now. Like, that overcoming is, at the end, even it's through the training, it's not physical. You know,
it's always in
exactly.
Your head. It's always in your head.
Yeah. Very interesting fact that I came across when we will move from the training to. I'll give you a question. There was a study done that started in roughly like 1938, I believe, and it was, to a certain point, now it's not, but it was the longest running study ever.
Okay.
They studied around 268 Harvard graduates.
Okay.
And they were tracking their lives. In 2017, there's 19 of them left. And the whole study was about what makes people happy.
Okay.
What makes humans happy. And within all the categories of social position, achievement in the career, family environment, the size of the house, like, you name it, they were tracking close to everything. What was the number one factor that was contributed to happiness?
Health.
Health? No.
Okay.
It was social contact, quality of relationships. So the quality of relationship was the main contributor to longevity in all these people. The people who were reporting that they have the strongest bonds and the greatest marriages at 50 were the healthiest when they were 80.
Okay.
So, people just get your shit together with the relationships.
So basically, because whatever energy that we get from whoever surrounds us makes us even better. This is why they always say surround yourself with people that will push you to do better.
Absolutely.
It's an interesting point.
That's mind-blowing. That's mind-blowing that basically, I mean, it's not really surprising because we are very social. We only live like we live because we are social. Yes. Everything what we have as a society is because we are society, right?
True.
Because we are not in wolf packs anymore.
So this brings back to the point. This brings us, to the point where it says the difference between an extrovert and an introvert. So the introvert basically is a person that gains more coins by staying away from people. So he loses his coins the more he meets people, but he gains more points when he's in his bubble. The extrovert is in the opposite direction. He loses coins when he's inside. But when he meets people, interacts with others, and gets the energy from outside, he gains more coins, and this is what makes him happy. So that's the difference between those two people. And that's why, as you said, social people have a better habit of how did you describe it?
Basically the length of the life, the happiness and the longevity of the life. Yeah.
Interesting point.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
I'm sorry, I want to bring you back to a question I missed to ask, which is the sleep. I saw something, and was posted by a coach, and the coach kept saying that the TV shouldn't be in the room where you sleep. The TV has its own place. You shouldn't be like watching TV and then sleep because it affects on you. However,
that's the same thing as the blue light. Actually, every screen is the blue light right in your face.
Okay.
It's like basically going to a 12 p.m. sun
and try to close your eyes.
Trying to close your eyes and sleep there. It's like, this is unbelievable how people are like, oh, I can't fall asleep, so I'm on the Instagram. No, you can't fall asleep because you are on the Instagram.
Yes, that's why there's the screen protectors and etc. Yeah. However, the interesting point that I read was the temperature of the room. Do you have any idea in your mind that you think it's the suitable way to sleep? Should be cold? Is there a certain temperature?
Your head shouldn't be too hot.
Okay.
I mean, 18 to 20 degrees is fine, but not necessarily
the right one.
It's not necessarily like to be uncovered. You know, you can have a blanket. You can be covered. But the head shouldn't really be in environment over 23 to 25 degrees because it just doesn't even feel right.
Okay.
You know, so the temperature of the room, 18 to 20, and if you need to cover yourself in even 2 blankets, like whatever, but the head being out and a little bit.
Okay, well, it's the same temperature that I actually read as well. So it was 18 to 20 degrees. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I came out from the subject, but I had to come back and ask.
Yeah, good. So then the final question would be, how to balance all of this,
okay.
Right? Because these are the elements that we actually can influence. You can influence how you breathe. You can influence drinking. I mean, water, hydration. You can influence the quality of the food, timing of the food, getting the real food. This is actually one point I want to go back to a little bit. If you don't know how to decide what is good food and what is not good food, always look for food that has no labels on it, because it doesn't need to have labels, and like the content, you know,
yes,
content labels. And go for food that doesn't need advertisement. When was the last time you've seen advertisement for apples? Yeah, that doesn't happen, right? So if the food does not have advertisement, that's a pretty good measure that might be real. And I also used to hear one advice: always put into your mouth only food that your grandparents would recognize. But if you follow this rule, then our kids will be fucked because their grandparents will be able to recognize shit ton of stuff that is still not good for them, right?
The time changes, and yes, I do see how healthy their life was because they ate natural stuff. However, now we're challenged to have natural stuff surrounding us.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's a very, very different topic, let's say.
Yeah.
From
So balancing out, I really like analogy that Simon Jones, he used to coach the strongman as well.
Yes.
Yeah, he used to be there with us. So Simon has this awesome analogy for this, and I also find it funny from a different perspective. It's like we are the clowns in the circus. I love it for just this, because we are all just clowns in the huge circus. And we are spinning the plates on the pole, right? And you want all of these plates: breathing, nutrition, hydration, sleep, training, or the mental training as well. Yeah, sleep. We want all of that keep spinning, okay? Now, you cannot have too many plates to spin
Okay.
because you are not going to manage it.
Balance it.
Yeah, so keep it simple as it gets,
Okay.
but constantly. Because if you will spin one plate as hard as you can, you still have to eventually get to it.
Yes.
So it keeps spinning. You cannot just spin it and leave it. You
should
still
slow
need to
down.
keep an eye.
Yeah.
So maybe smaller bits,
Mm-hmm.
but constantly being there. And the most important part is knowing how to spin.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the know-how of how to approach
So
it.
the knowledge
Yeah.
of whatever
Knowledge of whatever needs
we are
to be
doing
done.
basically on daily
exactly.
basis,
It can be very simple. It should be very simple. Because if we overwhelm it on everything, that's, you cannot throw a keto diet, blue light blocking glasses with red filters on the screens and nap schedule, and you throw this on people and they will not do anything, So one piece at a time, just finding the balance by spinning the right things at the right time, and just also kind of getting to the things that feels natural for us. But on purpose I don't want to say feel good, because even eating hamburger from McDonald's feel good for some people. But it doesn't mean it's good for you.
yes. The aftermath of that.
Yeah,
is
the
not
aftermath is not the greatest.
good. Absolutely.
Well, I would say stay healthy and get strong.